Okay, so
Okay.
we stopped the timer. We did that.
Yep.
We're still within the big giant for loop, which is great. I'm not doing a great job of indenting, but I did put my end at the way bottom, so I know we're still in that loop.
Oh gosh. Yeah. If you haven't been doing indentations like me, you are quickly going to hate yourself.
I am doing the thing where I comment each of my ends. I've found that really useful.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. So my line 41 is going to correspond to line 11 of our game plan. Write the buttons of Vent Handler.
I'm integrating. I'm like shuffling them together as I go. So we are doing the when the button is true. So that is.
Not quite when the button is true.
Oh, I'm sorry. Event handler first.
We have to write the buttons of Vent Handler. Yes. So how do we refer to the button?
So that is the controls dot button presets bracket I.
Sure.
Because the same loop that we're doing corresponds with the same indexes.
Yes.
Same indices.
Yes.
Indicators. Indexinator.
Indices.
Of the control bank that we made.
Yes.
So,
Now, Nate, you are correct. You are 100% correct. But I want to remind you something. Look back at line 32 for I, CTL in I pairs on the table controls.btn preset.
we're already bringing it in.
We can simply refer to it as CTL.
Got it. Or in my case, Nate. So Nate.eventhandler.
Sure. Okay. So CTL.eventhandler is what? Is a function.
A function that does not need an argument?
It doesn't, no, because we already have it.
Right, it's already there.
It is already there. And actually, so we already have a handy way of referring to the control itself.
Which is the CTL or the Nate.
Yeah, it's just the CTL. So end of that event handler. Cool, so there we are. So what do we want inside of the buttons of Vent Handler?
We've got when button is true.
Yeah.
So that means that if Nate.boolean, or for you, CTL.boolean.
Yep.
And then we do.
Nope, not do.
No, then.
It's then.
If Nate.boolean, then. And then we jump down, we're going to write an else if, or just an else would probably be fine in this case.
Yep, if and else, because we need to know when we poked the button and when we unpoked the button.
And then we're going to write an end later on that says end the if statements.
Okay.
Okay.
I put specifically if the button, right, because we're also going to have another if embedded here in just a moment. As we saw earlier, right, there's also if the flag.
Okay, so,
right,
I'm ending the button if.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, that's for me. That's for me keeping things straight. Nate hasn't learned his lessons about naming things or indentations, but he is catching on about putting comments on the
Disagree.
ends.
I've learned to name everything something memorable. All right. So when the Nate is Boolean, we start a timer. That's in our notes. So that is simply array of timers index I, as it has been for all of these. Method start parentheses. Yes, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And how long do we want to start it for?
Oh, good. That's what's inside the parentheses is the length of time. And we have defined that as a variable that the user can input via our controls.knob of hold time, and it would be its .value.
He is correct. Yep.
Okay, and that is the end of our if Boolean, which takes us to our else when the button is false. And we've already told ourselves that we're going to stop the timer. So that's, I misspelled array of timers. That would be a problem. There we go. Else we're going to array of timers I method stop, open close parentheses, does not need an argument. And then we are going to, like you said, here's our nested if then, where now we're analyzing the flag. Okay, so now I'm going to indent, and I'm going to indent like 4 times to compensate for my lack of previous indentation. We're looking at the flag, and that is in our array of flags. So in this case, we can just do if array of flags I.boolean. We can just do it like that.
If our flags bracket I.
bracket I,
Yeah.
dot Boolean.
No.
Oh, it's because we don't need to analyze whether the true's Boolean is true. It's not a thing. If
Yeah.
it is.
Yep.
If it
so
is.
our flags bracket I is either true or false.
It's already true or false. So we
It
don't need
is-
to ask
it-
if it is. It doesn't
Yeah.
even have a Boolean. It just is. It's just a data type that says true or false.
So to clarify something real quick, right? Nate is reflexively adding dot Boolean to things, and there's a subtle little piece of syntax to think about there. Dot Boolean is an aspect of a control. What we have built in our flags is simply a table, a simple table, right? An array that has true or false saved inside of it. We are storing Boolean values, but our flags does not have a dot Boolean because dot Booleans only belong to controls. We are simply saving data.
right.
Yeah, that's okay.
So just straight up, if array of flags I, then. And enter, enter, enter. We'll do an else, enter, 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 and the flag if.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what are we doing? If it is Boolean, then we are writing the PTZ to memory. And if it's not, let me rearrange my comments in here.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, then we are, if flag is false, then we are take PTZ from memory. Okay, we're real close here. Okay, so we're gonna write the PTZ to memory. So we've got to get the field, the coordinates field from the named component, which we named at the top. We named it devcam. Okay, so we need to get devcam, and then the question is, what control of devcam is it? Which means we have to go and look at that control component, right?
Okay.
We got to go to the camera.
Okay.
Where's the camera at? There's the camera. We open it up. We're getting this here where it says coordinates. If we're in emulation mode, we hover our mouse over it to know what its pretty name is, which is pan-tilt-zoom coordinates. With that information, we go up to tools, view component controls info, and then we can click on that camera, and we look for our pan-tilt-zoom coordinates, and it is pan-tilt-zoom. Might take a little bit of hunting. Okay, I scrolled it about halfway down. I see it. It's called ptz.preset.
You got it.
Look accurate to you?
You found it.
Okay, ptz.preset. I'm going to copy that here so I don't forget it. Although that one's actually a pretty friendly name to remember.
It is.
We go back into our code. We're going to see devcam. Now this one I might be.
Wait, are we saving or are we recalling?
This one we're grabbing. We're saving.
Okay.
So we want that string from the camera. So devcam bracket quote ptz.preset end quote end bracket.
Yeah,
Is that
we're
right?
gonna get there. Devcam bracket quote ptz.preset.
Yeah.
Close quote, close bracket,
Dot
string.
Okay.
All right, all right. So what do we do? How do we save it?
We need like a little variable, maybe.
Why do we
maybe
need
a
a
little
variable?
local variable.
Why?
We don't. You know what? We don't need to make it a variable first. We can just go to the beginning of this line and say controls dot text storage
You got it.
bracket I dot string equals that thing that we just typed.
Controls dot text storage dot bracket I dot string equals.
Yes. We're just taking the storage box and saying, go look across at that component and
Correct.
remember that.
We are taking the ptz.preset string from devcam and shoving it into the storage box.
Yes.
You got it. Okay, what else?
That's all we're doing in this part of the if, right?
Yep, that's all we've said.
So then for our else, if the flag is false, that's
Mhm.
already satisfied. We're just gonna do the opposite. We're gonna
You
do
got
the
it.
exact opposite of that.
You've got it.
So I'm gonna copy that, paste it there. I'm going to say that's equal to that.
Yep.
Changing what is on the camera based on what we see in our box.
You've got it.
And then we end that flag if, and then we end our button if, and then we end our function, and we're done. And then we read the debug to see what we got wrong. 46. Name expected near else. Do you know what I did wrong?
Yep.
What did I do wrong?
Well, have you
Haven't given it a name.
That's one of them, right? Have you defined devcam yet?
No.
Did you run the function?
It runs at the top of the script, yes.
Okay.
It runs the set code name, but it's looking for a code name that doesn't exist because I didn't type in a name back in my.
That's true. That is something that we need to do.
And
that is true.
The name of this camera is, it's ugly. I want to rename this camera, don't I?
You sure do.
Let's call this one. We'll give it a nice code name
Well,
called.
actually, there's something to notice first.
What's that?
What's the script access?
Well, right now, script access is set to none because it has no code name at all.
That's right. Why? Why is it set to none?
Because by default, everything's set to none.
By default,
safety
it's
reasons.
always set to none, right? Yeah, we've never touched these things. So we need to give these a name. So give it a good name.
Nate Cam. Got it.
Nate Cam. All right, well, what about the other one?
They'll be called also Nate Cam.
Also Nate Cam. Perfect. Okay. For those of you who are not named Nate, you might choose something like Cam Left. And make sure that the script access updated. And this other one we'll call Cam Right. And also make sure that it updated. So there you go. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Come back down here.
Type in Nate Cam into our camera code name in emulation mode. Restart the script.
Shouldn't have to restart the script. You have an event handler.
I've got, let's see, I got end expected to close the 4. Maybe I'm missing one of my ends somewhere. I'm going to do that thing where you just type end 12 times at the end of the script in case you missed one. I must have missed one.
If Nate chooses to include this particular message in the edit, you will see that he is currently furiously trying to figure out why his code is broken because he didn't indent and he didn't comment his ends as well as he thought he did. Part of the thing in VS Code is you can see how these little lines, these little vertical lines, are showing you what's in line with everything else. And that helps us to keep everything together.
Yes, I got it. All right. Found my mistake. This is one of the crazy things about code, right? Is sometimes you got to hunt around. Maybe you saw this when I was typing it at the time. On line 7 for me, which for you, Jeff, would be on line 27. When I was setting the camera codenames event handler, I defined it as its .string rather than its event handler because I was thinking of the name of it. And I clear that out, and I think everything's going to be right as rain now. Looking much better. Okay.
Before we play with this, I think there's like maybe 2 things that I think we should do. One is pretty obvious. We should put in some debugging statements.
I was just thinking that same thing.
Yeah.
Because that probably would have helped me figure out what went wrong.
It could. I really think we only need 2 debugging statements, and they are going to be right here with the if flag else thing. So let's do this. Let's print different ways to do this. You could use string.format if you want to, or you can simply just concatenate in. It's going to be just fine. And in fact, maybe we just write a simple concatenation for now for the sake of brevity. And what do I want to say? I want to say that it was preset number, which one was it? It was preset number I, did what? It saved, and what did it save? It saved the devcam PTZ preset string. And I'm going to put that there. So that says preset I saved that particular string. And then correspondingly, I'm going to copy and paste and put it down here. And really, all I'm going to do is change this to say recalled. And it's also going to pass out the devcam string because it's the string that was recalled. So there you go. That's good. The other thing that I think we need to do when we poke the button, let's also make sure that the flag is low, right? Because every time we poke the button, we want to make sure that we start in the low state. So our flags bracket I is going to be false right there. Like I said, I told you, how long is the code to actually write the preset buttons? Line 56 minus line 36, that's 20 lines. Yeah, it's like 20 lines of code. When you write it scalably, when you leverage your data structures, when you leverage your for loops, when you leverage your ability to speak abstractly but exactly, you can write really efficient, scalable code. All right, let's see this stuff work. You ready, Nate?
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
Okay. Here's how we're going to make this work. We can shove that over a little bit, and we can press the button. And after, for me, 1 second, because mine's set for 1 second, when I let go, I can see that I got some debug information. Preset 1 saved this particular coordinate string. And I can see that down here in my text storage, the string showed up. So additionally, if I tell it to go back home, and maybe I save home as preset number 2, and hold it and release, we'll see that preset number 2 saved 000. And then if I press number 1, it recalled that first preset string, and you can see that the coordinates moved into position. And if I press number 2, you can see that it moved back into that position. Our little old script is working, right? You can play with it. You can make number 3 work as well. You can change your hold time to see that that works as well. Is yours working, Nate, or are you busted?
I'm almost there. I had some spelling errors where I capitalized CAM in some places, and I only camel case capitalized it in other places. So I was fixing that.
It's a thing, and seriously, if you are experiencing the same kinds of situations, be encouraged. We all have that happen from time to time. And it's really just that invitation to practice and to write consistently and to not name everything Nate. Okay? Give it good names that are memorable, that you can spell correctly, which I'm really kind of concerned that Nate spells his name incorrectly. He's had it for quite a while.
You know, the irony is I don't even like my name. I've made such a thing about it in this course now. I don't even like it.
Well, that's a bummer.